3 Cass County Sheriff's deputies have arrived on the scene where 2 people are in trees right now, tree sitting, and a few others are in pipes in the pipeline. This is the line 3 pipeline right here, this green pipe. Yeah, it is 8 a.m. Central Time here. I'll zoom in a bit more. It is a Minnesota Anishinaabe territory. There are 2 people tree sitting, resisting the new Line 3 pipeline, which is being constructed by Canadian-based company Enbridge Corporation, which is a multinational corporation. You can see here in the background the folks who are tree sitting. One of the deputies is walking blind to the west, I believe. Triangle tarp on the right, and then the one on the left. Part in this action are water protectors resisting the new Line 3 pipeline. There are other water protectors as well on site. And when I arrived this morning, the tree sitters were already in place. Again, so far there's only 3 Cass County Sheriff's deputies. One might be the sheriff. I'm not sure though. So for more than 7 years, people have been resisting this new Line 3 pipeline through court processes as well as on the ground actions like this. This pipeline is called a replacement pipeline by Enbridge. However, it does go through a mostly new corridor, so trees and forest had to be like deforested and cut down, and new land is being traversed that hasn't, the tar sands is to be the fossil fuel from the earth. It's mostly through open pit mining, like pretty solid actually. And so this new pipeline is set to pump at the very least over 700,000 barrels a day, but the highest that it could potentially pump is more than 915,000 barrels of oil a day, which is much larger than the Keystone XL would have pumped if that one was still in progress. So there is the old Line 3 pipeline, which is still in use, just at a low capacity. It has cracks along the seam of it and is currently leaking, but they still are running it at a low capacity. So I'll zoom in again to the tree sitters. Again, these are water protectors up in those trees, resisting this new Line 3 pipeline. And this is Cass County, northern Minnesota, Anishinaabe territory. No workers have showed up to the site yet, but there are these 3 Cass County officers from the Sheriff's Department. And some reasons why water protectors are resisting this pipeline, as well as other fossil fuel extraction projects all across the country. One of those reasons includes man camps, and those are very specific to extraction industries like mining. It's not just for oil, it can be for uranium mining, gold mining, any type of mining or extraction. And they're temporary housing facilities that are either made, or sometimes they use like hotels if they don't want to build new infrastructure, but it can be trailers, like individual trailers, or somewhat similar to a college dorm situation for thousands of workers. Many times there are a lot of out-of-state workers who will then increase drastically the population of a rural area. And yeah, so they accommodate predominantly male workers. And research has documented the direct relationship between these camps and increased drug trafficking, sex trafficking, and violent crime, all of which disproportionately affect Indigenous communities in general and Indigenous women in particular. Also Two-Spirit people as well. And yeah, there have been many studies showing that correlation. The camps by nature create a rapid increase in the population size, and it puts strains on local law enforcement and human services, especially because most of these projects are in rural areas, like right now in northern Minnesota. This is pretty rural. The increase in population can lead to an increase in physical and sexual assault. In 2019, the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics completed a study on violent victimization known to law enforcement in the Bakken oil region of Montana and North Dakota, where increased reports of crime coincided with the socioeconomic changes brought to that area by the oil boom. So looking at the rapid rise of oil workers to oil-producing regions where they were housed in man camps, the study showed that from 2006 to 2012, the rate of violent victimization, particularly of aggravated assault, increased 70%. So there's a very clear correlation between an increase in out-of-state men who go to a rural area where marginalized populations live. There's this correlation of increased violence, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, human trafficking. So that is one big reason why water protectors have been resisting this new Line 3 pipeline for over 7 years. In addition to that reason, climate change is another. Climate change has been being shown through what's happening in the Pacific Northwest right now, where they're seeing weather changes that they haven't experienced in recent history, with temperatures getting as high as like 115 and 120 degrees. And their infrastructure isn't ready for that or built for that. Wires and transmission, like certain lines and wires have melted. People are dying because they don't have like adequate cooling systems like ACs in their homes. So, you know, these changes are already being shown quite a bit. And, you know, that's just one example of how climate change is already, like the effects of climate change are already being seen in drastic ways. And so opponents of this new Line 3 believe that new infrastructure, new fossil fuel infrastructure will only add to that. And these aren't assumptions I'm making, by the way, of the beliefs of people. It's through interviews, it's through, you know, a lot of research and past reporting. So I'm not just pulling this info out of thin air. But yeah, so those are a few reasons. Another is the land itself. This is Anishinaabe territory. Wild rice is an essential part of that culture, and wild rice grows on water. And this pipeline, this new pipeline that you see right here on this screen, here's another Cass County Sheriff's Office deputy. This new Line 3 pipeline is set to cross the Mississippi River 2 times and over 200 bodies of water and hundreds of wetlands. So that alone, just building a pipeline through those areas is destructive, and the potential for spills makes it even more worrisome for people who are indigenous to this area. The sheriffs are talking to 2 people up there, saying they're trespassing. Trying to hear what.
I understand, ma'am. We're done here. Okay? I understand. They will not be harmed. I understand.
Oops, sorry for that. I'm on some log matting right now, the road, because the heavy machinery can't go over like mud and wet areas, so they build matting on the road, and it's uneven, so I apologize for the rocky filming. This Cass County Sheriff just said if you don't move now, you'll be placed under arrest.
I understand that you're trespassing. Please, ma'am. Turn around and walk the road. Take them. They're under arrest. Are you choosing to walk that road? Yeah, all of them are.
Okay, this Cass County Sheriff is now arresting 2 media people.
You're under arrest. You're under arrest.
Yeah, I got got the
logo.
So yeah, there are two press people being arrested right now. Okay, a third press person is also being arrested. There are
Press, did you not give adequate dispersal order?
yeah, I didn't hear a dispersal order other than them saying if you don't leave now you're under arrest, and people were actually walking away. So
I'm gonna get my gear and I'm gonna leave because you did not give me a dispersal order.
I've been apart from this, covering the part. Covering it for the event. Matt, what's your background?
Yep. If they go, yeah, okay. You alright standing there? You want some back to
Just place your hands behind your back, sir. You're under arrest.
okay, so this other person who is also media is being placed under arrest. I will try to leave the area if I'm in my gear, but I don't know what this deputy is going to do.
Hey, Brad.
Again, this is Cass County, northern Minnesota, Anishinaabe territory. This is Alex with Unicorn Riot. There have been 4 members of the press arrested. They're not, Johnny. They're not. No, they're not with us.
This one too, Brad.
So,
this one.
is yeah.
Ma'am?
He told me I could leave.
Who did?
The one back there.
Oh, just hold right back. Scott, did you tell her she could leave?
He said, if you don't leave now, I'm gonna arrest you, and I'm fucking leaving.
Yeah, I would also like to
Leave?
leave.
Okay, then leave.
the roadway if they want.
Yeah, I'd be afforded the same opportunity. I was never told to leave.
I told all of you.
Yeah, I would. Alright, can you know this away?
Just give me a second. I need to gather all my equipment and get away, or they're going to arrest me also. Against the new Line 3 pipeline. There was not an official dispersal order. They said you're trespassing, get like the road. People started walking backwards, and then they just grabbed people and said you're under arrest. 2 other people were also arrested. There are still 2 people tree sitting up in the trees. Yeah, so sorry, trying to it's about 8:30 a.m. Central Time. Press got here, including me, at about 8 a.m., so about 30 minutes. Cass County Sheriff showed up soon after that, and now 4 members of press are arrested. Again, there was not an official dispersal order. One deputy, or maybe it was the sheriff, I'm not sure, said, "You're trespassing. If you don't leave, you're going to be under arrest." People started to move backwards towards the road he was telling them to go towards, and then he grabbed them and said, "You're under arrest." One person standing right next to me was also arrested. Looks like another sheriff vehicle is arriving. Okay. Some of the deputies are circling up. There's 5 of them. Are in the white sheriff's vehicle. Right there, they're inside, and then the 2 other press people are standing outside. And then I think 2 other individuals were arrested. Also, the first cop to inspect the rigging for one of the tree sits plucked at the rope and made a comment about cutting it down. The ropes have not been cut, but just to note that happened. And those ropes are like stabilizing the tree sitters, so that could be very dangerous if any of the stabilizing ropes are cut. Oh, this sheriff deputy is spraying bug spray on people. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so I was also narrowly arrested. So were the two other press people who got out without being arrested. Again, 4 press members were arrested. I believe 2 other individuals were also. This is in Cass County, northern Minnesota, Anishinaabe territory. There are 2 tree sitters resisting this new Line 3 pipeline, which is being built by Canadian-based corporation Enbridge. This new line could pump over 915,000 barrels of oil a day of tar sands crude oil, which is known to be the dirtiest form of fossil fuel. The tree sitters are up there, if you can see that. The tarps up there. Looks like 2 more law enforcement vehicles are arriving. Another law enforcement vehicle pulled in from the other side of the driveway. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 law enforcement vehicles on site right now. Get it off. Yeah, if you want your thing back.
Yeah, sorry, I just, I'm a little green in here.
They're carrying this person, and they're yelling, "This is Indigenous land." One of the non-press members, another Cass County truck just showed up. Yeah, I saw them both at first, and then yeah, so 6 total people have been arrested, 2 non-press, 4 press. They're starting to load people into these Cass County Sheriff's SUVs now. Well, this one SUV, and then there's a car. I don't know about the truck. Probably not the truck, because you can't sit next to the law enforcement.
Telling you, it's going to be secured. I'm not going to cut it like I did the other one.
They're in route.
Another law enforcement vehicle is pulling up. Another Cass County Sheriff's vehicle. So there is a large presence of police here right now.
You need to let our press team go!
Another, or no, I think this is a worker just pulled in with Utah plates. They actually drove by earlier this morning.
Yes, sir.
They are moving the arrestees around, and so before doing that they patted people down. They're loading them in to the vehicles they have parked on this access road right in front of where I am. Oh, they're pointing. There are some deputies up the hill, and they've been pointing at the remaining media over here, and one person yeah, there's just possible hearing that they were looking towards this direction, so I don't know. We'll continue providing live coverage as long as we can.
To Walker, we're being charged with trespass.
Okay.
We're being taken to the Walker jail.
Okay. Walker jail. Trespass. Okay. Are you? I think I'm feeling like trying to stay a little bit longer. Alright, there is another Cass County Sheriff's deputy arriving. So yeah, I believe all 6 people who were arrested are off site now. They were driven off. There are still 2 tree sitters up in trees. There's one, and there's the other one. Folks are here resisting the new Line 3 pipeline. Another Cass County Sheriff's vehicle is leaving, or at least moving forward. Okay, they are leaving. So there's at least 4 Cass County Sheriff's deputies still on scene. I think they're figuring out what to do. Yeah, I'm like, I guess.
Rattled long lens with like, maybe I'll find something that I can use it on.
Yeah.
I can't see much more, but
Yeah, I know. I can't see where the deputies are, but I can hear them talking. I can't make out what they're saying, but I think they are trying to figure out what's, like, potentially how to get people out of the trees. Again, there are 2 people tree sitting right here next to the new Line 3 pipeline. So yesterday, their Enbridge started drilling Willow River, which is part of the Mississippi watershed. When they drill under rivers and waterways, they use a horizontal directional drill, and that's to bore a pathway to then like push the pipe through. And water protectors, primarily from Honor the Earth, which is a nonprofit, went up there yesterday to show resistance to that drilling, and they discovered that some mud that was warm, and they believe it's because the drilling, the HDD, or horizontal directional drilling, hit an aquifer. And drilling mud is used in the HDD process. It's a mixture of mud and other things that like are chemicals, I believe. And so yeah, that mud can be toxic. And so, and they saw this happen. So they saw, like, water protectors saw the yellow mud in the Willow River, and saw the Enbridge workers trying to mitigate it by using yellow booms to try to stop the flow of the mud downstream. Yeah, and the drilling mud is mixed with chemicals. I'm not fully knowledgeable on the process itself, but the drilling mud I know is used to help with the drilling, and water protectors yesterday believed the mud spilt and got in the Willow River because the drilling hit an aquifer. That's what they believe. Another relevant story that came out recently, on July 3rd, two men who work for Line 3 were caught in a sex trafficking sting, and previous to this recent one, there were two other Line 3 workers charged in a different sex trafficking sting earlier in the year. So at least 4 Line 3 workers so far have been caught in sex trafficking stings. And that's, of course, people who are caught, and, that we know of as a public, who have been involved in sex trafficking. And that goes back to the man camps I was talking about earlier, how thousands of out-of-state workers, typically men, show up in rural areas and drastically increase the population. And studies show that there's a strong correlation between that increase in people due to these extractive industries and violent crimes and sexual assault, and also the increase of drug and sex trafficking. So far this morning, 6 people have been arrested, including 4 press people. Looks like a trailer is arriving with Cass County. I believe it's their extraction trailer. It's pulling in through the other driveway. I'm not sure if they have anything in their toolkit that can help with tree sits, but we'll see what happens. When the 6 people were arrested about 30 minutes ago, one of the deputies said, "You're trespassing, you need to go to the road," and they started to move back, like they started moving closer towards the road, and then all of a sudden they said, "You're under arrest." So there wasn't a clear dispersal, there wasn't sufficient time for people to actually get to the road. Somehow 3 media members, including me, were able to get out, and we're on the edge of the road and the work access road right now, like the public road and the work access road. So I can hear the tree sitters chatting together. So that's a close-up view of a tree sit. There is a piece of wood as the base, like the floor, and then that's anchored to the tree. There's a tarp, you know, for protection from the elements, also, you know, privacy, I'm assuming. Different buckets, you know, food, water, also to go to the bathroom, that's a thing too. So yeah, tree sits are meant to last a while, hence all of the gear and supplies. That's one of the reasons tree sits can be used in resistance movements like this one against line 3, because the intention is to halt work for, you know, longer than a day. You know, that's, you know, there are a lot of actions that are work stoppages for a day, but a type of tactic like a tree sit is, the intention is for longer than just one work day. And there are 2 tree sitters. This is Cass County. There are, I believe, 5 or so sheriff's deputies here. Actually, now it's probably 6 or 7, because another one just recently showed up with a trailer. So that's probably their Northern Lights Task Force trailer, which has all their extraction tools and supplies. This sheriff walking by is banging the pipe, or like I don't know what he's doing, hitting his hand against the pipe to make that like ding ding noise. Maybe that was just for fun. I'm not sure if it was for any other reason. Yeah, as you can see, this pipe is not laid in the ground. It's resting on pallets right in front there. And this is a part where it curves down. So it like, yeah, let me see, it like goes and then it like curves down right there. So parts of the pipe do that. It's not, just a straight, flat pipeline. And in the winter, particularly in the winter, they use big sandbags to place the pipe on, because if the pipe is on the frozen ground, that's not good for the integrity of the pipe itself. So having it lifted off the ground is like helps the pipe last longer. A lot of these pipes excuse me, though, have been sitting out in that pipe yard that excuse me, where 3 grandmothers locked down outside of on Friday. That pipe yard was the home to a lot of pieces of this pipe for years. So the pipes were sitting out in, being weathered and, in the snow of northern Minnesota and in the heat for many years. So I'm not an expert on pipes, so I'm not going to definitively say whether that was good or bad for them, but it is to say they were sitting in a pipe yard for many years, because this pipeline fight has been ongoing for over 7 years. And this pipeline intends to span over the 1855, 1854, and 1842 excuse me, treaty areas. Or I'm sorry, that's the original one. The existing line 3. The existing line 3 still is it's still working. It still pumps tar sands oil through it. However, it's at low capacity because there are cracks and small leaks from the pipeline. And that pipe itself is actually the responsible pipeline for the largest inland oil spill in US history. It happened in the early 1990s, and was the largest inland oil spill in US history from the original line 3. That is still running at a low capacity as I speak, which is one of the reasons why Enbridge has been advocating so long and hard for this new pipeline. This new line 3 pipeline is a multi-billion-dollar project. It's the largest project in Enbridge's history. And again, it could carry up to 915,000 barrels per day. Oh yeah, so sorry, I think I've been saying more than. It's up to 915,000 barrels of crude oil a day, and at least somewhere in the 700,000s. So it has the capacity to pump more than the Keystone XL pipeline, which was canceled by Biden, and then investors bailed out on it also. So the Keystone XL is no longer. That would have also pumped tar sands oil. I am hearing work trucks in the distance, and I don't know what that's about. I don't know if they're actually working or if they might be bringing trucks over here to see if they can use them in an extraction process. Last Thursday, so almost a week ago, the extraction team utilized a piece of equipment to get to the top of another piece of equipment where someone was locked down to, and to then conduct the extraction process from there. So they've done it before, so I would not be surprised if that's the plan. It does sound like it's getting closer, so we'll see soon. Again, one trailer has arrived, one extraction trailer from Cass County. There has only been Cass County Sheriff's Office here today. I have not seen any other county yet. And I say yet because most of the Line 3 resistance actions bring out multiple different counties. So as of now, I've only seen Cass. Yeah, that definitely sounds like it's getting closer. Whatever it is. So we'll see in a minute. These sheriffs trucks are backing out, which means, yeah, the machine is probably gonna be trying to park right around somewhere. Oh, it's quiet. Well, I think I will have to stay where I am, just along the road, so if it doesn't move, I won't have eyes on it. But I'll definitely try to let y'all know exactly what's going on as far as I can tell. This person is backing up pretty far. And then oh, they're leaving, actually. That truck is leaving. Okay, that piece of equipment just revved up again, but now it's quiet again. Not quite sure. It's definitely beyond the trees. I will try to see what's going on. Yes, it is a big piece of equipment. I think it's essentially a giant cherry picker from what I just saw a second ago. I don't know the actual equipment's name, but the one with like the shovel, the big curved shovel at the end. That's what I'm thinking it is. I only saw the very top of it. It is moving this way though, so you all should get a look soon. And these green signs that say approved access and have the Enbridge logo in the bottom right corner, they have ones that say, what do they say? Invasive species, ones that say wetlands. Yeah, so it's, I think, a way. I'm not really sure what the purpose is, actually, but it does seem sort of like a branding moment to let the public know what's going on. And then the ones that say wetlands and invasive species, I suppose, are to let the public know that they're aware of those existing, even though they are constructing a tar sands pipeline through those areas, and, you know, blatantly acknowledging that with those signs. That piece of equipment now sounds further away, so I think what I thought was happening might not be the case. There are deputies up the way, with the, well, some of those actually might be workers, because some of the deputies did put on orange vests, I think, just because it's, you know, on a work site, but that one on the far right might actually be a worker. And then this one, he's walking, yeah, that's a worker. Sorry, let me zoom out. This person is a worker, also. Oops, sorry. Yeah, these are workers. He said something about another patch of matting, like the log matting. I couldn't tell exactly everything he was saying, but this is the wooden matting. It's essentially a road so that heavy equipment can roll over dirt and mud and wetlands without sinking or getting stuck. And that's what the Firelight Camp along near the Mississippi headwaters was camped on was matting that was built over that wetland that was like right by the Mississippi headwaters. And that location is one of the 2 Mississippi River crossings intended for this new Line 3 pipeline. So yeah, I'll just zoom into the pipeline. There's a lot of stuff written on it, as you can see. I think that says 7 joint section, or maybe it's 2, maybe the other line's connected to that longer line, not sure. But yeah, then these, I don't know what those are. That's about, goes up to 17 there. Entering the space. Oh, that's what they were doing. So they're carrying So this wood matting is being placed and like extended down this access work site, or sorry, access road to this work site. It might be so like vehicles to help with the extraction can more easily get closer. I'm not sure what the purpose of this is, but this is right in front of the 2 tree sitters, which are behind. As the machine's doing that, the whole ground is shaking. Sounds like another construction or a piece of construction equipment is moving this way. Another thing to note is that roads have been blocked off, so there were other members of the press who were trying to come over here and just be along the road that were not allowed in. Yeah, so here's another machine, the same kind, that also is bringing more wooden matting over. And again, the tree sitters are directly behind everything that's happening. So deputies are walking to the west along the pipeline. Oops. Trying to get the shot and they walked too fast, but they were walking to the west. Check back on the tree sitters. They've been up for a while. So for folks tuning in, thank you for watching our live stream. This is Alex with Corn Riot here in Cass County. This is northern Minnesota, Anishinaabe territory. There are 2 people tree sitting, and this is the Line 3 pipeline. The green pipeline is the new Line 3 tar sands pipeline. It's a controversial pipeline that water protectors, environmentalists, indigenous people have been fighting against for over 7 years, since its been introduced by Enbridge. Enbridge Energy is the corporation behind it. It's a corporation that's based in Canada. It is a multinational corporation. However, they have their pockets in a lot of things and their extraction projects in a lot of areas of the world. This pipeline, if finished, would carry tar sands crude from Alberta, Canada to Superior, Wisconsin, and the oil is meant to be exported. So it's not meant to stay in Minnesota, and it's not meant to stay even in the States, as far as I know. Another Cass County Sheriff's vehicle arrived, and a fire truck is also here, which I'm assuming they're going to try to use the fire truck ladder to access the tree sitters, and that must be... I'm going to try to move a little bit. Or maybe I'm fine. I'll wait here for a minute. But yeah, the Brainerd Fire Department just arrived. And so it looks like that's why they set up that matting, was because they were expecting the fire truck.
Sure.
So that person in the middle might be the fire chief, and then two Cass County Sheriff's deputies are on the left and the right. So that vehicle noise you're hearing is the fire truck that's behind me and to the right. It seems like they're gonna be moving in close to the tree sitters and probably using their ladder to get up close to the tree sitters. So me and other media have been on the ground since about 7:15 this morning. It's now 10 o'clock a.m. Central Time. Cass County Sheriff's deputies arrived about maybe like 30 minutes or so after media arrived, and maybe about 15 minutes after that, they arrested 4 members of the media and 2 other people, 2 just water protectors who were on the scene. And there was no official dispersal order that I heard. One deputy told everyone that they were trespassing and they needed to go to the road. It looked like people were backing up towards the road when all of a sudden the deputy said, "You're under arrest," and then arrested everyone who was there. So now it's later in the morning. The 2 tree sitters are set up to last a while. It looks like they have buckets and they have tarps to cover their to cover them from the elements, the weather. Because the tar sands industry is so energy intensive, it's also expensive. And with oil prices low and the mining and processing of tar sand so high, the industry has actually been losing funding over the past few years. And so some water protectors believe this is a last-ditch effort to, you know, be like the final tar sands pipeline, because even as far as fossil fuels go, there are much easier ways to even extract fossil fuels in general. However, of course, water protectors would probably be proponents of alternatives to fossil fuels in general, but that's all to say that as a fossil fuel, tar sands is a waning industry. It is expensive, time and energy intensive. So this matting is still being figured out. This backhoe, I believe is what it is now it seems to be using dirt to fill in some areas, flatten it out, and then I'm assuming more matting might be added. And I believe it's for this fire truck that's behind me to get onto the site. this new Line 3 pipeline violates the 1854, 1855, and 1867 treaties, which established their right to hunt, fish, and gather. In the treaties, it's an agreement, if people don't know what the purpose of treaties are, is they are essentially contracts made with specifically between indigenous people in this country, the United States. They are contracts between the US government and different indigenous groups of people, where the indigenous people, whether it's coerced or consensual, it's different for different treaties. However, there's agreements made to allow settlers of the land to have some access to it, and so they are agreements of like land use, basically. However, over time, the treaties have not been honored. A pretty prime example is a treaty in the Black Hills, where the US government said, okay, the Lakota could have, their land, and then General Custer went over there and found gold, and then the gold rush happened, and the US said, oh, never mind, we actually don't want you to maintain this land anymore because we want the gold. So that is seen more than in just that one instance. And so for those treaties I just listed in this area of the world, which is east of the Black Hills, the 1854, 1855, and 1867 treaties, those are meant to protect the rights of the indigenous people here to continue to use the land. However, with a tar sands pipeline running through it, that's pretty difficult, especially if there are leaks. There's movement to the right. Oh, sorry. One of the deputies just started jogging over there, so I'm not sure if it was urgent or what. And by the way, there is still a lot of gold mining happening in the Black Hills. There's also uranium mining, rare earth mining. So we've done some coverage of it, but you should also just look it up. There's a lot of extractive projects that have been going on in the Black Hills for a very long time. We've covered some of the uranium projects happening there. There's currently a acid leach mine where they're literally using acid to separate the uranium from other parts of the earth. And I think that might be the only one of its kind in this country. If it's not the only one, it's one of few. It's not a common practice here in this part of the world to use acid leach mining for uranium. But all of these extractive projects are interconnected because it's the land that's affected. It's the people whose land the extraction processes go on top of or dig into that are affected. It affects the water, the food, all of the species that depend on the land and the water and the food. I think that other backhoe is coming over with more wood matting. So thanks to whoever's tuning in. This is Alex with Unicorn Riot. We have a page dedicated to our coverage of the Line 3 resistance movement. So you popped off more wood matting. Won't do it. Or no, now there's new matting road is being created. So since it's summer and rivers and waterways are flowing again after being frozen during the winter, all of the water crossings are seemingly simultaneously all happening in the summer, like right now. So one of the Mississippi River crossings was completed. There's intended to be 2 of them. Yesterday, some water protectors from Honor the Earth went to the Willow River, and there they saw some mud mixture that's used for the horizontal directional drilling, and it's a mixture of mud and chemicals, and that got into the river, and Enbridge workers put down like yellow barges, or like yellow, I think they're called yellow barges, let me check, in order to try to stop the flow of that mud further down the river. And so, yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of river crossings beginning, and there are water protectors across northern Minnesota, across Anishinaabe territory, attempting to stop this construction as Enbridge increases their speed of trying to get this done. The Minnesota portion of this new Line 3 pipeline is the last portion that needs to be finished for the happening. There's been a large action where 14 people locked down to various pieces of construction equipment, including the pipeline itself. 28 total were arrested because and ralliers of the people who locked down were also arrested. Down to the gate of a pipe yard, so where Enbridge stores its pipes, the sections of the pipes. Three grandmothers locked down outside of that for about 3 hours, and those are just the ones we've been able to cover. There have been numerous other actions. The week before last week, so about 2 weeks ago, we also covered people. So that's the first time we've seen that happen so far. So in action since then, the one on last Thursday and the one on Friday, those water protectors also were charged with felony theft. So we'll see if any of the water protectors who are attached to things today, and potentially longer than just today, will get charged with that as well. Were you still trying to use this? I turned it off because you walked away, but I can turn it back.
I was still on it.
So I'm not sure how long of a matting path they're trying to build, but they're now going up towards the east of the main access road. So yeah, they might be building quite a long matting road. And I think that's so that the fire truck can access the work site and get closer to the two people who are tree sitting. And they are tree sitting to resist the new Line 3 pipeline, which is that light green pipe that you see on the camera. It could pump up to 915,000 barrels of tar sands crude oil a day, which comes from Alberta, Canada, and is intended to travel all the way to Superior, Wisconsin, where it's then intended to be exported. I've been on the ground for about an hour, or sorry, for about 3 hours, since about 7:15-ish this morning. It's almost 11 a.m. now. It's a somewhat cool day in the 60s, like low 60s, a lot of cloud cover, which is much different from what it's been up here. It's been very hot. There have definitely been effects of climate change happening up here with drought and very dry weather, which is uncommon for here since there's so much water. It's usually very humid, but there have been high risks of wildfires in the area for I would say about like a month and a half now. It did rain yesterday, at least in some parts of northern Minnesota, but I think it's gonna start getting hot again starting tomorrow. And that's all to point out that part of the reason why water protectors are against this new infrastructure, this new fossil fuel infrastructure, is because of the effects to climate change and catastrophic climate change. deputy and I think the fire chief are talking right now. And this is Cass County, Minnesota, for folks who didn't hear me say that. It's northeast of Minneapolis. The Minnesota Department of Commerce estimated that the social cost of climate damage for this project is $287 billion. The Minnesota Department of Commerce also joined a lawsuit lost my train of thought for a second. The Department of Commerce joined a lawsuit when the Public Utilities Commission overruled the recommendation of its own administrative law judge to approve the project. So the PUC, Public Utilities Commission, approved permits and the Department of Commerce, along with a contingent of a few indigenous tribes, honored the earth, and I think at least one other nonprofit organization filed this lawsuit that attempted to revoke those permits that were approved by the Public Utilities Commission. However, about like three or 4 weeks ago, a 3-judge panel ruled on it, and 2 out of the 3 judges ruled in favor of Enbridge, citing that in fact their environmental impact statement was fine, and that the route of the pipeline was fine, and that their demand forecast was also fine. There still is an ongoing federal lawsuit. Federal lawsuits take longer than state ones, but there is a federal lawsuit still in place against the Army Corps of Engineers water quality permitting. Water protectors were hoping that the Biden administration would make a decision in favor of making Enbridge create a new water quality permit, or I'm sorry, have the Army Corps of Engineers do a new survey of the water quality permit and revisit that. Yet instead he agreed with the Trump administration's previous approval of it and moving forward with that water quality permit. So there's still that lawsuit in place. However, those court processes without temporary injunctions, which are temporary restraining orders against Enbridge to stop construction until those rulings are made, the work continues. So even though there's at least one lawsuit that could potentially stop construction, until it's made, there's that ruling, construction continues. Enbridge is not only responsible for that biggest inland oil spill in U.S. history, where 40,000 barrels spilled in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. It is also responsible for the 2010 tar sand spill into the Kalamazoo River in Michigan, where 20,000 barrels polluted the river. And there are still efforts to clean that river up. It's been ongoing ever since then, so for over 11 years now. The matting is still being built. The 2 water protectors are still tree sitting, resisting this pipeline, trying to maintain and hold space to prevent work for multiple days. So a press release was just published about from the GNU Collective, which is a Indigenous women and Two-Spirit led resistance movement, or organization I should say, confirming that, you know, there are obviously 2 tree sitters, there are 2 Indigenous water protectors who are tree sitting. And yeah, so those ropes are directly anchored to the pipeline itself. So where I was showing, there are ropes with caution tape tied to the ends, those are connected to the Line 3 pipeline. 2 other people also crawled into a pipeline segment. So in total there are 4 people on this site holding space, preventing work from happening. Over 500 people have been arrested to date fighting the Line 3 pipeline construction. JD, who is one of the people, I think on the site, who is White Earth Anishinaabe, said, "At this point, it should be obvious why anyone would take action against the fossil fuel industry. The ocean is on fire. Heat waves are killing people by the hundreds." And that's a good point. I should also mention that there was an oil spill in the ocean a few days ago, and so the ocean was literally on fire. And those heat waves, killing hundreds of people. An example I gave earlier this morning is in the Pacific Northwest. Temperatures are reaching into into 115, 120 degrees. Going back to the quote, "We are in the middle of an extreme drought. Our wild rice beds, lakes, and rivers are drying up. And while they dig up our mother for Line 3, the bodies of our relatives are being dug up from the grounds of boarding schools. They are people who were taken from us as children, who never got to have children of their own to live their lives. I am thinking of generations of relatives that are not here with us. My elders, aunties, uncles, cousins, and peers I will never know on this earth. But my grandma survived, and that's why I am still here, proud to be Anishinaabe." So that is part of a quote from one of the people. I don't know if it's one of the tree sitters or one of the people in the pipe. But so we got confirmation that there are 4 people on the site attached to different things. There are 2 people tree sitting and 2 people inside the new Line 3 pipeline. There's still wooden matting being placed down over the dirt road that is parallel along perpendicular as well as parallel along the easement, the Line 3 easement right in front. And I believe it's to have the fire truck get closer and maybe other bigger equipment to get closer to where the tree sitters are. one of the people inside the pipe, there's a quote from them. As a descendant of settlers, it's my job to stand up to white supremacy and doing what I can to disrupt projects like Enbridge's Line 3, which perpetuates climate chaos and brings destruction and violence to Anishinaabe territory is part of that. We must do everything we can. We are running out of time. So that quote was from Water Protector Magpie, who's inside the pipe. There are 2 total inside the pipe and then 2 tree sitting. More wood matting is being brought to continue building this longer road. but
Gotta add apricot. Like an alternate, like flavor, you know?
yeah, maybe in a bit. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds good.
No, you have to mix it up. There's only so many of those.
I know. And I brought like the same flavor too, so it's like all the same.
not too hot out today.
Yeah. So I'll do another recap for anyone who's just tuning in. It is about 11:30 a.m. Central Time. I've been on the scene since about 7:15 a.m. And there are two people tree sitting. You can see in the frame on top the two brown rectangles. Those are tree sits. Those are tarps hanging over wooden boards that's used for like the floor of the tree sit. And then there are two other individuals who are inside the Line 3 pipeline. I'll zoom out a bit. The light green pipe is the new Line 3 pipeline. So 4 people altogether are attached to different areas of the site, intending to stop work for more than a day. And I will read a couple quotes from people on the site. One of the people who is tree sitting is White Earth Anishinaabe, and they said, "At this point, it should be obvious why anyone would take action against the fossil fuel industry. The ocean is on fire, heat waves are killing people by the hundreds. We are in the middle of an extreme drought. Our wild rice beds, lakes, and rivers are drying up. And while they dig up our mother for Line 3, the bodies of our relatives are being dug up from the grounds of boarding schools. There are people who were taken from us as children, who never got to have children of their own, to live their own lives. I am thinking of generations of relatives that are not here with us. My elders, aunties, uncles, cousins, and peers I will never know on this earth. But my grandma survived, and that's why I am still here, proud to be Anishinaabe. These colonial governments have done everything they can to kill our land, kill our culture, kill our people, but they will never kill our spirit. We will never go willingly to our own destruction. So today I sit in the path of this pipeline. Tomorrow it could be you." And that's a quote from one of the tree sitters, who is right now sitting in a tree. And then from inside the pipeline itself, Water Protector Magpie says, "As a descendant of settlers, it's my job to stand up to white supremacy and doing what I can to disrupt projects like Enbridge's Line 3, which perpetuates climate chaos and brings destruction and violence to Anishinaabe territory, is part of that. We must do everything we can. We are running out of time." And so that person is inside the pipe. So 4 people total altogether. Earlier this morning, 6 people were arrested, including 4 members of the press There was not an official dispersal order. A deputy mentioned that people were trespassing and they needed to go to the road. And as people were starting to move that way, the deputies said that everyone was going to be arrested. So at that point, 2 people at first were arrested. Then the 4 others were. And those are the only people so far here that have been arrested. There are still a few media people here, including myself. We are right on the edge of the worksite access road and the main road that's like public road. The workers right now, there are a few on site, at least from where I can see, and they have been moving these big backhoe machines around to add more wood matting to the access road. And I think it's so that the fire truck or other heavy equipment can get in. There are big white ropes that I'll try to zoom in on. Those are big ropes that are stabilizing ropes connected to the tree sitters and then tied around the pipelines. So you can see the yellow caution tape there. Oops. That yellow caution tape is connected to the stabilizing ropes. So if those ropes are damaged or cut, that could endanger the tree sitters. I didn't hear what he said. Hey everyone, we've had some connection issues being in a rural area. That happens, but we are back live here in Cass County. This is northern Minnesota, slightly east. This is Anishinaabe territory. I'm actually just going to be doing an outro right now. It does seem like they are building matting and it's going to take a while. So I'm going to be on the ground for like after I go down live, but I am going to stop the stream here in a few minutes. There are 2 tree sitters up in the trees resisting this new Line 3 pipeline, which is the light green pipe. There are also 2 people inside the pipeline itself. So 4 water protectors all together here on this site in Cass County. This new Line 3 pipeline goes through mostly a new corridor through over 200 bodies of water. It's intended to cross the Mississippi 2 times. One of those crossings is already complete. So water protectors have been matching production of Enbridge with their actions, with their own actions. This pipeline pump, there's a lot of wildlife. There are bears and coyotes and beavers. And also it's responsible for the Kalamazoo River oil spill being possible to clean up fully. So there's been a fire truck parked in the road behind me for probably at least an hour now. I believe waiting for this wooden matting to be finished, which looks like it's going to take a while because I think they might be trying to build it so that the truck can get around the pipe, and that extends kind of far. So might be an all-day road build. County since about 8 a.m. And yeah, so this is just one of many resistance actions that have been taken against new Line 3 pipeline. Covered one where 14 water protectors locked down pieces of equipment, including the pipeline, down to water protectors have been charged with felony theft. And in the 3, and yeah, thank you. Alright, our data was really bad there apparently, so I'm just going to do a really brief outro again. 4 people are holding space here at this Line 3 pipeline easement. 2 are tree sitting, 2 are in the pipe. Thank you all for watching. You can go to uniconright.ninja to learn more about this particular resistance movement and all our other coverage on there. Thank you all for watching.